heat and gone straight through to the main race. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a good run in the Orion Hennigs Motorsport Geo7, so it was good for the race.
It looks very good for the race for you. You wouldn't have probably been able to see what was going on in your mirrors. There was such a great fight for second place. They were holding each other up, and that gave you the 7.5 second lead that you took the flag with.
Yeah, I saw it. They were fighting, so it was like, yeah, a bit like cruising. But don't make real mistakes or something. So yeah, you're
good. Come the final, we'll see you start at the sharp end. You finished, what was it, 8th, wasn't it, in the main event last week? You'll be hoping for better.
Yeah, we had 2 crashes with the back marker, so put us back to the 11th. So we drove back to 8, but we are coming for the top 5 here, so that's our goal.
And just for my understanding, as well as the listeners as well, you know, there's lots and lots of practice sessions that go on each week in the EuroNASCAR Esports Series. How much time do you spend practicing and trying to perfect each track, Jeffrey?
Around 10 hours a week.
10 hours a week. Wow, that's a fair amount, but it's working. It's clearly working for you.
Yeah, we see can see what it does. So yeah, maybe we have to practice a bit more for the top, but.
We'll wait. See. Well done on that one. You probably know Zandvoort, which we head to next time round. Next week we head to Zandvoort. You'll know that one a little better, I guess.
Yeah, it looked a bit promising more there, but it will be hard also for the tyres. So.
Well done on the heat win. Congratulations. We'll hopefully get to chat to you later on this evening.
Thank you.
There we go. Jeffrey Ruffin, who just won Heat 2, drops into the commentary box. Guillaume de Flandre lines up on pole position for Heat number 3, which is on its rolling lap. Loris Hazemans is alongside Alessandro Brigatti and Alex Sedgwick on row number 2. Vladimir Tsiotsis and Brian Krells on row number 3. So again, it's a 10-minute race. Again, just the top 10 automatically go through. So there's drivers that will need to work their socks off, I would have thought, to try and get themselves into contention, including the car that starts down in 13th position, 3 times a runner-up in the real NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Fred Gabillon, the Frenchman, has got work to do, as has off the back of the grid the German driver Justin Kuntz. So lights go out, we get the race underway. It is a good start from Guillaume de Flandre at the wheel of his Chevy, leads the charge up towards the 90, turn number 1. Loris Hazemans is there in 2nd position at this stage. Loris, remember, is the reigning EuroNASCAR Pro champion from last year. He's 2nd in the race. Alessandro Brigatti is 3rd at the moment, so going well is Alessandro Brigatti, who we haven't seen huge amounts of this year so far in the E-Series, driving the Feed Vict Racing Chevy that's sitting there in 3rd place, but coming under pressure from the Brax Racing Ford of Alex Sedgwick that is directly behind him. Everybody's safely through, I think, largely this first lap. The drivers that I thought might work their way up through the order. Well, Fred Gabillon's gone backwards. He started 13th and is now 15th, and starting 19th and is now 12th is Justin Kuntz. So I said the German needed to make progress. He has absolutely got the bit between his teeth in the early stages of this one. Heat number 3, remember. So up towards the right-hander at turn number 7. We go on board with the Brax Racing Ford of British driver Alex Sedgwick, trying to hunt down 3rd place Alessandro Brigatti. And as we look at their onboards, I think joining us in the commentary box, we've got somebody else that's come in to join us. And I'm delighted to say he's joined us for this one. Hopefully we might see more of him in the season. It's Brent Moffitt joins us in the commentary box. Brent, welcome along to the EuroNASCAR Esports Series. How did heat number 2 go for you?
Well, this whole thing's been a little bit of a reality check. These guys got some serious speed. I need to find better friends to practice with, I guess. But it's been great. It's great to be in the Euro Series on this race. And the heat race went pretty much as expected. Started where I finished and didn't really learn a whole lot. So we got some more work cut out for us.
I think it's going to be one of those that, you know, it's with 77 drivers, I think it was originally entered. We whittled it down to 60 and we'll whittle it down to 36. And you can't afford a mistake, can you, with the format that we have here?
No, it's tough. I didn't know the competition was going to be this deep. You know, there's a lot of guys with speed, and if you look throughout the speed charts, everyone's only separated by a couple hundredths all the way down. So a lot of talent in here, and it's definitely going to take being on your A game to perform today.
Do you think at some point, I mean, if you're a man, if we cut you in half, you say NASCAR through the middle. You know, you've raced in K&M Pro East and West, in Sprint Cup, in trucks, in Xfinity, of course, to claim the championship back in 2018. Do you think we might see you racing for real in the NASCAR Euro Series at some point?
I would love the opportunity. I think if it works out, I would. I've never been overseas, so I would love the opportunity to come race with you guys and just to experience a little bit of your culture.
And the final question, is this a one-off at Watkins Glen, or might we see you dip in for a couple more throughout the course of our E-Series season?
Yeah, we'll see how many people I upset by the end of the day and if I get invited back. I'm still a little bit new to iRacing, but I like to race as much as I can, so I'd love to be back with you guys.
Hey, it's been great having you along. Thanks for dropping into live commentary with us, and hopefully we'll maybe get another catch-up later on this evening. But good luck for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. There we go. Brent Moffitt, great that he dropped into commentary, the 27-year-old American who we've just seen compete in heat number 2. Back to heat number 3. Guillaume de Flandre now leads by 1.8 seconds from Loris Hazemans. We're looking at Vladimir Tiotzis, who has got a huge queue of cars sitting behind him. He's there in 5th place. He's driving the car number 101, the Cypriot for Race Art Tech, Alex Caffey Motorsport, the Ford. He's got Brian Kruls, that looks like, yeah, it is Brian Kruls right behind him at this stage. And then Lorenzo Marcucci, Alex Fontana, Henry Tuamala, almost wrapping up the final places in the top 10. The final place in the top 10 is Chris Richat at the moment, a former World Touring Car and World TCR driver, the 28-year-old, who'll be racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series for Brax in 2020. So back to Loris Hazemans. There goes the reigning NASCAR Pro champion from 2019, losing out by 2.3 seconds to Guillaume de Flandre. And still this great fight behind the number 101 car that's being driven beautifully well by Vladimir Tiotzis, another driver who, like so many of them, has taken part in the NASCAR recruitment program, which sees young drivers and being given the opportunity to test the EuroNASCAR, and some of them then getting the opportunity to race them as well. And Tiotzis is one of those drivers that's come through that sort of process, and I no doubt will be hopefully looking forward to getting behind one of the cars for real, potentially in the future, for a full season of racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Andre Weigold still joins me in commentary. Guillaume de Flandre was impressive on his debut at Brands Hatch last week in the E-Series. He didn't do the prologue event at Daytona, and at the moment he's keeping the champion from NASCAR Pro in 2019 behind him and is pulling away, Loris Hazemans.
Yes, right. Guillaume de Flandre is a rocket here at Watkins Glen. He had to go through pre-qualifying. He managed to qualify for the 60-car main event, and now he's leading this heat, and I think he will for sure advance to the main race if he does no mistake in these last couple of minutes in this heat. And he's incredibly fast. I think he's doing iRacing since a long time. He knows the tracks very well, he knows the cars very well, and experience is a very, very important factor in iRacing. You know how the cars handle, you know now you need to know how the tracks are handling. So Guillaume de Flandre knows everything very well, and that's why he's so fast, in my opinion. And of course, he's a very, very good race car driver, both in real and in the virtual world. He's also a multiple NASCAR Euro Series race winner, so he knows how to drive a car like this.
He is, yeah. He only did 4 races in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series in 2019, just the Hockenheim and Zolder final rounds. But he's been part of the series since 2015 and has claimed, 3 career wins, I think he's got so far. We ride on board with Brian Kruls sitting there in 7th place. The light green car is number 141, Lorenzo Marcucci, that sits directly ahead. And at the moment, the Italian, who did only the Hockenheim races last year as well, Lorenzo Marcucci, is, I think, just got the upper hand over Brian Kruls. Brian running car number 378, so that means he's one of the team members, and he's a team member for Brax Racing, number 91 car he is usually part of. And now we can see on board Lorenzo Marcucci for the Club Motorsport, looking back at the car that's right behind him. The two of them absolutely together. This is a great little fight going on for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th positions. Vladimir Tiotzis, Lorenzo Marcucci. The orange car is Brian Kruls. The car that's at the back of the little train is car number 342, which is Alex Fontana. He's the test driver for 42 Racing. and had a fairly successful career himself, did Alex Fontano, in the likes of European Formula 3. He was the champion in that back in 2011. We saw him racing in Formula Renault 3.5 as well as sports cars, European Le Mans and Blancpain and all of those things as well. But at the moment, he's at the back of the train. We ride on board, looking forward at Brian Krull's, heading up in towards the inner loop, where they flick right and then left and right. 2 minutes still remaining. And who is on the bubble? Well, at the moment, Justin Kuntz off the back of the grid is up into 11th place now. But for the German, that is still not quite good enough yet to give him automatic qualification. He needs to catch up with Chris Rickert, who is driving the number 91 Brax Racing Chevy. And there is Chris Rickert, grey car with its red flashes to it. Justin Kuntz sitting behind. But Justin Kuntz is closing the gap. Is he going to be able to close it sufficiently before time runs out for the German? We will wait and see. So through goes Justin Kuntz. He has got time in hand between himself and the car behind Navetalo. As for Chris Rickard, well, yeah, you can see the gap has been sort of bouncing around, really. So it is still a bit of time that he needs to try and find somewhere, Justin Kuntz. And for the moment, I don't quite think he's going to catch, let alone stand a chance of getting past. As for Chris Rickard, well, he is looking to try and work his way past Henry Tuamala, driving the number 23 car for DF Racing if he can. Back to the leader. Guillaume de Flandre is about to start his final lap of the race in heat number 3. The RDV competition Chevy leading the way at this stage from the Hendricks Ford of Loris Hazemans that sits there in second place. There's a relative gap between the pair of them. The black car with the Dutch national flag stripes down the centre of it in the hands of Loris Hazemans. Onto the brakes in towards the right-hander at the 90, turn number 1. Nice and neat and tidy. There's Alessandro Brogatti. He sits there in third place. Was having a good battle with Alex Sedgwick in the early stages, but Alex Sedgwick, I think, has now just settled for fourth place, knowing that that will see him nice and neatly through into the main event. So there is Brogatti down the back straight in towards the inner loop. Here we're going very, very shortly. The Chevy just ahead of the number 78 Brax Racing Ford, bouncing over the curbs for Alex Sedgwick. And then as he now turns his way from the inner loop to the outer loop, the long sweeping right-hander, which really drops away on the exit of the corner, slightly banked to hug you in, but it does drop away a bit more than really you could probably see on your screens there. All looking safe inside the top 4, really. Guillaume de Flandre just heading out of the final corner now. He is going to take the win. We heard from him earlier on, because he was the winner at Brands Hatch in the main event. He is the championship leader, and at the moment he is safely through with a heat win into the main event a little later on this evening. Loris Hazemans comes through and finishes in second place, and Alessandro Brogatti, that is a good result for Alessandro Brogatti. He will be very pleased indeed with that one. And the rest of the cars just tickling their way over the start-finish line, including Alex Sedgwick. Lorenzo Marcucci is safely through as well. And Brian Krull's another car that is safely through, completing the top 6. The last of the cars that was going to make it through is Chris Rickard. We are not going to see Justin Kuntz, the number 99 car, off the back of the grid from, 19th place, I think he started, make it through to automatic qualification. He will have to roll up his sleeves and slug it out in the last chance qualification race a little bit later on. So Guillaume de Flandre making his way around the circuit on the slowing down lap. Andre Weigel, I'll just bring in quickly before we chat to our race winner. A fairly clean heat number 3. Last chance qualification race. It's either secure a top 6 place to fill up the grid for the main race or go home. It's going to be a good one.
Yes, for sure. We had some clear races, I think, all time long, because it was always this one first lap incident, and afterwards it was a very, very clean race. It was clean first heat, a second heat, and the third heat was perfectly. I think